Hey, if you think $90,000 Bitcoin is something, strap in because you ain't seen nothing yet. Yes, Bitcoin has completed its greatest single day in history, and yes, it's blasted to new highs. But my friends, this is only the beginning. Bitcoin is about to hit escape velocity. Was November the 12th the day Bitcoin officially conquered the world? Well, the future press secretary you've dreamed about seems to believe so. And you're going to want to stay until the finish because Max Keiser just broke down why $800,000 Bitcoin, well, it's mathematically guaranteed. And that's just the tip. Samson Mow believes a massive event is coming that could lead to dollar sat parity. I'm Rustin, head of news at Simply Bitcoin, and we've got some insanely bullish news to get to. Send it!
That fight to get Bitcoin on the reserves and to make Bitcoin even legal tender, for example, that's going to be a fight that'll take some time. But every single day they wait, it means that they're going to miss out because Bitcoin is now on essentially the God candle. You could see Bitcoin go up $100,000 in one day. If the UAE, for example, were to say, yes, we're aggressively putting money to work into Bitcoin, it could go from 80 to 180,000 in one day. I fully expect that to happen. So where is the U.S. going to be in all this? Well, they have to act very quickly. And do they have the ability to act that quickly? It's hard to see. I hope they do. One inside baseball little thing I'll mention.
Hold on, stay there. We got to go to break, Max. Come right back.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the bears are being pushed towards extinction. Absolutely wrecked as over $1 billion in leveraged positions were liquidated just yesterday. And it's looking like another slaughter today with Bitcoin taking no prisoners. Do you see what your lack of faith and lack of bullishness leads to? You know who isn't lacking faith? Bald Uncle Larry. US Bitcoin ETFs bought $4.2 billion in Bitcoin in just 5 days. Wall Street, meet the juggernaut. IBIT has hit the $40 billion asset mark. And that's just 2 weeks after they hit $30 billion in a record 211 days, annihilating the previous record of 1,253 days held by IEMG. It's now in the top 1% of all ETFs by assets, and at 10 months old, it is bigger than all 2,800 ETFs launched in the past 10 years. Probably nothing. It looks like Bitcoin isn't letting up either. The pump continues. And this morning, as soon as the corn pumping indicator came in at 2.6% and the odds of a December Fed rate cut pumped to 75%, well, Bitcoin does what Bitcoin does. But my friends, this is only the beginning. Yeah, right, Rustin. Bitcoin's an inflation hedge and inflation's going down. Whoa, easy. Pay attention to what Bitcoin is telling you. Roll it!
Central banks around the world, they hold gold, many other assets. Right. And so anytime that you can go and get the best store of value asset in Bitcoin, which it has been for the last 15 years, I think that's a good thing. The other thing that's happening is Bitcoin's price is increasing, and everyone says, hey, it's Wall Street FOMO, which definitely is playing into it. But I think that Bitcoin is also a global alarm system. And what Bitcoin is telling us is, I'm calling the bluff of the politicians. If we go and look over the last 3 months, the politicians have added $850 billion to the national debt. And so at that same point, over that 3-month period, Bitcoin is up over 40%. And so right now we have a race between the national debt and Bitcoin. Who is going to reach the sky faster? There's an entire generation of people, we do not believe the CPI number anymore. They're saying that it's 2.4%, but people are looking at their grocery bills. They're looking at their daily expenses, and they're saying there's no way that prices are only going up 2.4%.
That's right. We don't trust the state, and for good reason. And what's absolutely hilarious is that the same state-controlled media that laughed at us, well, they can't deny how bullish Bitcoin is right now. Roll it!
Chris, this recent crypto rally is definitely being felt, and analysts are now predicting that Bitcoin could reach 120K by the end of the year. We've also seen new user-friendly ways to invest in cryptocurrencies come to market this year.
Never fails. Bitcoin, not crypto. But what is happening? I mean, the normies out here are telling me we'll never see a strategic Bitcoin reserve, blah, blah. Well, cram it in your cake hole. Because now, even the uninformed seed oil guzzling normies are starting to figure out, as we can see, following yesterday's Bitcoin price surge, the odds of Trump establishing a Bitcoin reserve, well, they've risen to 51%. Oh, it's happening, my friends. The question is, who will front ran the U.S. or who is actively doing so as we speak. Now, the Bitcoin senator, Cynthia Lummis, is looking at completion in the first 100 days. And as Pomp said earlier, Trump holds Bitcoin and he wants the United States to hold Bitcoin as well. Now, things just got a little interesting. As of this morning, it was reported that none other than Howard Lutnick is a finalist for the Secretary of Treasury. And we can be confident in one thing if this comes to be.
Every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer. Right?
Trust me, I know why you're doing the lending.
It's all coming. We'll figure it out.
Listen, what does that mean? Well, it means stack 'em while you can.
Moass.
Moass is coming. What f***ing timeline are we on? Did Bitcoin just conquer the world? Is $800,000 Bitcoin locked in? Get ready to have your face melted. Roll it.
A lot of people would come out and say, what if governments try to ban Bitcoin? And I've been on your show many times explaining that we won't see governments trying to ban Bitcoin. What we'll see is governments competing to buy the most Bitcoin. And that's what I call the global hash war. El Salvador has something like $500 million worth of Bitcoin. We buy Bitcoin every single day. Donald Trump says he wants to enter the global hash war as well. He understands that the dollar and all fiat money is going to go to its intrinsic value of zero. So Donald Trump and Cynthia Lummis, who put a bill forward in Congress and in the Senate trying to start a campaign and a law that would mandate that the U.S. put Bitcoin on the books as legal reserves. And he's targeted 1 million Bitcoin that he'd like to buy. And that's fantastic, except Bitcoin is the only commodity in history, the only asset in history that no matter how high the demand is, the supply never increases, no matter what the demand is. Even if all $400 trillion worth of monetizable assets on planet Earth go into Bitcoin, you cannot create more supply of Bitcoin. It's an absolutely scarce commodity. That means that the price can only go up. Then you have Michael Saylor at MicroStrategy just announced another $42 billion buy program of Bitcoin. You've got Qatar, you've got UAE, both rumored to shortly announce that they're going to put state reserves into Bitcoin. That would be another $500 billion worth of buy into Bitcoin. Trump, will he be successful in buying 1 million Bitcoin? He'll be buying Bitcoin at $100, $200, $500, $600,000 of Bitcoin. Alex, Bitcoin just took out silver in terms of its market capitalization. And I will tell you on this show that as 2 + 2 = 4, and as the sun rises in the east, that Bitcoin's market capitalization will be greater than gold. So gold's at roughly $17 trillion. That means the implied price for Bitcoin is $800,000. It's currently around $80,000. You can take that to the bank. It's absolutely guaranteed. It's mathematically guaranteed to go to $800,000 to take out gold because it's a superior form of value and money than gold. And the history of money is always a case where those who have money flock to the hardest money, the scarcest money, the most valuable money, and that is Bitcoin.
That's right. You better buckle up because this time it is different. Even the TV can't stop talking about ending the Fed and Bitcoin. The prophecy is being fulfilled. And the perfect storm to send Bitcoin to $1 million and beyond? Well, it's here. It's not even an if anymore, it's when. And Jan 3 CEO Samson Mow in his latest interview not only believes $1 million Bitcoin is upon us, but the Great Reset as well. You're going to love this. But before we bring it home, look at our likes.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Enjoying the show so far? Don't forget to like and subscribe for the best in Bitcoin news delivered to you daily. Give us a pep as we take a second to recognize our sponsors, the masters of Bitcoin's self-sovereignty, the Bitcoin Way. Simply Bitcoin originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They bring over 25 years of cybersecurity experience. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. They help bridge that gap from the why Bitcoin to the how Bitcoin. And as your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you from start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. From your first wallet node to advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more, the Bitcoin Way has got you covered, and they will hold your hand and walk you through the process toward becoming a sovereign individual.
Why would the US dollar have to reprice to Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, there's no way to pay the debt off, right? And debt is far higher than GDP.
Yeah.
So something has to give. Either there's a debt jubilee all around, or you have to reprice or rebase to a harder asset. And it's difficult at this time to imagine the creation of a new dollar. Like you have that in many countries, when the fiat currency fails, you just make a new one and you lop off some zeros. But with the advent of Bitcoin, it's no longer possible because they have an option now. They have a choice to go to Bitcoin or to accept a new fiat. And I just don't believe that will be the case. Therefore, it is inevitable that we do rebase to Bitcoin eventually. The question is when. But I believe $1 to 1 Satoshi is a fair rebase plan. And Trump has hinted of this. He said maybe we pay off the debt by giving people a bit of Bitcoin. I don't know if he's exactly thinking of rebasing to Bitcoin, but he's hinting, or at least his line of thought is moving in that direction. I believe we're also on the verge of countries issuing sovereign debt to buy Bitcoin. It is going to come simply because the MicroStrategy model has illustrated that this works. And it's just simply a matter of time before a country pulls that trigger and unleashes a torrent of sovereign debt to acquire Bitcoin.
You know what? I think where we're going, we're all getting jetpacks. It's how we're going to travel in the Citadel. Send it! Did Bitcoin just conquer the world? Strange things are happening. Could this be the bull run where we end the Fed and hit dollar sat parity? Or will we settle with 800K and a crying Schiff? Hey, a win's a win, but let us know what you think below. As for me, I'm with Tomer. Some people think Bitcoin isn't playing for all the marbles. It is. And with the US debt spiraling past GDP, a financial reset might just force a rebase to Bitcoin. Could we see a Trump administration pave the way for dollar sat parity? Let us know what you think, but I'm pretty sure it's not bullish enough. What an absolutely massive day. You're all fucking making history. You do know that, right? Hey, catch up with the latest Bitcoin news and keep this bullish party going right here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a pep, and spread that sound money gospel. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, you.